The zipper stopped halfway up her back. For one brief moment, neither of us said a word. Late afternoon sunlight streamed through my kitchen window in a quiet neighborhood outside Nashville, Tennessee, painting soft golden lines across the floor. I stood there, holding the tiny metal zipper of my neighbor's emerald green dress, completely unaware that the next few minutes would change both of our lives forever. Before we continue, if you believe in kindness, hope, forgiveness, compassion, and second chances, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who may need encouragement, and subscribe for more heartfelt stories. My name is Nathan Carter. I'm 41 years old, and for a long time, I thought I understood loneliness. 3 years earlier, my wife, Rachel, passed away after a long illness. After that, my world became painfully small. I went to work, came home, watered the flowers she used to love, and spent my evenings sitting alone on the porch, watching the sunset in silence. The neighbors were kind enough, but I kept everyone at a distance. Grief had built walls around my heart, and I didn't know how to tear them down. Then Abigail Thompson moved into the house next door. She was cheerful, hardworking, and always seemed to have a smile ready for everyone. She worked as a school counselor and had a gift for making people feel seen. Even from across the fence, I could tell how naturally she cared for others. And yet, behind her smile, there was a quiet sadness she never spoke about. One Saturday evening, Abigail knocked on my door. She looked nervous. She explained that she was running late for an important charity gala downtown. The zipper on her dress was stuck, and she couldn't reach it herself. Embarrassed but desperate, she asked if I could help. It seemed like a simple favor. So I invited her inside, and a moment later, I carefully pulled the zipper upward. When it finally slid into place, I expected her to thank me and rush out the door. But she didn't move. Instead, her shoulders began to tremble. Then she turned around, tears filling her eyes. What she told me next caught me completely off guard. She said she hadn't really come because of the zipper. The gala wasn't what mattered. Earlier that afternoon, she had received devastating news. Her father, Michael Thompson, had suffered a severe stroke in Ohio. The doctors weren't sure how much recovery was possible. She had spent hours sitting alone, trying to process the fear, the uncertainty, and the weight of it all. The truth was, she had no one nearby. Her mother had passed away years earlier. She wasn't married. Most of her relatives lived across the country. And as she sat there alone in her house, overwhelmed with anxiety, she realized she couldn't bear the silence any longer. The broken zipper had simply given her an excuse to knock on someone's door, an excuse not to be alone. As she spoke, I recognized something familiar in her eyes. The same loneliness I had been carrying for years. And for the first time since Rachel's passing, I found myself opening up to another person. I told Abigail about the nights when grief felt unbearable. I told her how I often pretended to be fine when I wasn't. I admitted that some days, I still set out 2 coffee cups before remembering that I lived alone. Our conversation lasted for hours. The gala was forgotten. Outside, darkness slowly settled over the neighborhood. Inside, 2 lonely neighbors shared the parts of themselves they had hidden from the rest of the world. In the weeks that followed, Abigail traveled often to help care for her father. Every time she returned, she looked exhausted. I began checking in on her. Sometimes I mowed her lawn while she was away. Sometimes she brought over homemade soup when she noticed I seemed withdrawn. Neither of us was trying to fix the other person's pain. We were simply showing up. And somehow, that made all the difference. Months passed. Michael's recovery was slow, but steady. He learned to walk again. His speech gradually improved. Every small victory felt like a miracle. And at the same time, something unexpected began to happen in my own life. The walls around my heart started to crack. I began attending community events again. I reconnected with old friends. The house that once felt empty slowly began to feel like a home again. One autumn evening, Abigail and I sat on our neighboring porches, watching leaves drift across the street. That was when she told me something I will never forget. She said that on the day she knocked on my door, she wasn't really looking for someone to fix a zipper. She was looking for proof that she wasn't alone in the world. And somehow, she had found exactly what she needed. Her words hit me harder than I expected, because the same was true for me. Sometimes life doesn't change because of grand gestures or dramatic moments. Sometimes it changes because one person finds the courage to knock on a door, and another person chooses to answer. Before we reach the end of this story, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever experienced an unexpected act of kindness that changed your life? Leave a comment below and share your story with our community. A year later, Michael attended a neighborhood barbecue in Tennessee. Watching him laugh with Abigail and our friends brought tears to my eyes. The man who had once faced such an uncertain future was now surrounded by hope, warmth, and people who cared about him. And standing beside him was the daughter who never gave up on him. As for Abigail and me, our friendship became one of the greatest blessings either of us could have imagined. We learned that healing doesn't always arrive dramatically. Sometimes it arrives quietly, disguised as a simple request for help. If this story touched your heart, please support the video with a like, share it with someone who believes in second chances, and subscribe for more inspiring stories. Because the night I zipped up my neighbor's dress, I thought I was helping her solve a small problem. What I didn't realize was that two broken hearts were about to help each other heal. And sometimes, the strongest connections begin with the simplest knock on the door.